Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? Valley Flying here. I am back. Hey, welcome to the channel. It is a new month, and that means we have a new login character, Luke Cage, and it also means that it's time for a new free-to-play top 10 list. So we got a good one coming up, but before we do that, I do want to thank everybody that joined me for the test that I did last night with the unannounced stream, and had a bunch of people join me, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for checking that out. It wasn't announced, so it was a kind of a random thing, and I plan to do those again. And that makes me want to remind you guys, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, because when I do that again, I will be announcing it there first. You guys can kind of stay tuned. And also, I put out news on there. You know, sometimes there's some news, and it's not enough for a full video. I put it out there first. So make sure you follow me on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to this channel. That's it. Let's get to the list though. Let's go take a look at last month's list. This is how it looked last month. We had a few characters drop off. We had a few new characters come into the list, and the list shifted around a little bit. And what has changed? Well, we got a couple new characters. We got Deadpool, we got Cable. Cable is not free to play, so he's not going to be making the list. Deadpool is kind of free to play, so he is eligible for the list. But this is what we had last month. Let's take it all off and start all over again. Coming in this month, number 10, it is Deadpool. Yes, I just mentioned him. He is a really good character. Let's take a look at his kit real quick. And he has a pretty solid kit. He has a pretty solid base damage, pretty solid base stats, and this move right here, Bounty Hunter. Attacks the most injured target, 490% damage, ignoring taunt. If the enemy is killed, regenerate. Now this is probably gonna be an instant kill because one, you're starting this on after a few turns, so you're not starting with enemies fresh, they're injured already, and it's the most injured target. Plus it's huge, level 6, 490% damage on some already huge base stats. Really big attack. He has this nice chain attack here, and he has a pretty solid basic attack, and I like his passive as well. Very solid character, and Deadpool makes the list. Number 9 coming in, it is Night Nurse. Now, Night Nurse is a very solid character. She is solid for the raids. I think you need her for the raids, but as I've gotten my characters up a little bit, she's kind of fallen off for me. I haven't stopped using her for those level 50 Ultimates raids, but I think I can do it without her. She is still the best healer in the game. Let's go take a look at her kit though. And you know, she just got heals all around. She's got heal on her special, she's got heal on her ultimate, she's got heal on her passive, and she has a 50% chance to slow with her basics. So she's a very good character. You need her for those level 60 raids, and for a long time you're going to need her for the level 50 raids. She's a very good character. The reason that I dropped her on the list though is that I just don't know, you don't really need her in any other modes. You really need her for the raids, and I'm not sure if you need her for the level 50 raids at this point. So still a very good character, but there's some other characters that I wanted to include on the list that made it up there. So number 8, Kingpin. Yes, I've been not including him on purpose on this list previously because he is very hard to farm, but because they reduced the difficulty of all the campaign missions with this last update, I think he's a little easier to farm. Let's go and take a look at his kit. So what makes him so special? It is this boss's orders right here. Defense up to all allies for 2 turns. Solid, which means that all your characters are really gonna have a hard time to be killed. It ups their defense by 50%. You got offense up to 5 allies, so you pair him with a big damage dealer, they're gonna do a lot of damage. And he has an assist from villain or mercenary characters. He also has a assist on villains at the start of their turn to do a team attack. His attack isn't that big. He does have a lot of health though, and then with his Crime Lord, he got 2 bodyguards that can be summoned that have taunt. So basically they're taking away at least 2 hits from the enemies. They have 100% health, but they're gonna die pretty quickly. But you know, hopefully this time when you use them, that they take away a hit from one of the enemies. Hopefully one of their big ultimate hits. If you look at him, he's more of a support character. He's not going to do a lot of damage himself. He's not a tank himself because he doesn't have a direct taunt, but he's just a really solid support character. Boss's orders is what really makes him, and he has a solid basic attack as well with a 50% chance to assist. Let's go back to the list. Number 7, boom, it's Drax, and Drax fell off a little bit. He's not a bad character by any means. I still like him, and in my opinion, one of the top 2 tanks in the game. Let's go check out his kit. This is what really makes him annoying when you're facing him on defense. On spawn, he has that taunt. He has a drain on all of his attacks, on both of his attacks. He has 2 attacks. He has another taunt that you could do, which gains counter and defense up for 1 to 2 turns. Really solid tank. He has a lot of health, a lot of armor. He's not a big attacker. These attacks don't do a lot of damage, and I just, I don't know. I found him easier to get around when I face him on, when I'm going against him. If you plan right, I try to avoid him if I can, if there's a bunch of other tanks, depending on what the other team is, but I just haven't found him as threatening, and that's why I moved him down a little bit on the list. Let's move on. Number 6, Crossbones. Now, if Drax moved down, somebody had to move up. That is Crossbones. I think he is a lot more scary when I face him on defense, so I have to move him up the list. I've also built mines up a little bit more, seen what he can do firsthand, and I just like him as a character. You do have to use him right. If you pair him with Kingpin, very solid. Let's go take a look at his kit. I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with his kit. It revolves around his detonate. What else is there to say? It's a really big attack, and if you use it right in the right situation, especially with someone like Kingpin buffing him, it can take out everybody. I haven't seen it unless it's some really low opponents, but it is possible. He has an okay basic attack, and this taunt is useful in the right situations. His passive, nothing too special, but what really makes him is this detonate. Just detonate, you have to plan around it, and that's why I think he moved up a little bit on the list. Someone else moved up on the list. Number 5, Gamora. So the reason that I've leveled her up, when I face her on defense, she is very scary. She is one of my first targets to take out. She gets that chain going and is really annoying. And I've also leveled up my Gamora and seen the damage that she could do, seen the potential that she has, and she is very strong. She is a good pair with the rest of the team. So let's take a look at her kit. Huge attack here on this on her ultimate. Offense up, attacking the primary target. Not some huge numbers. If you look at her base stats, they're not huge compared to some of the other brawlers. And if you look at these percentages, they're good, but they're not huge. But when you actually see her in battle, it is nice. This basic is really good, and then she has a chain on her special as well. She also helps some of her Guardian allies as well. Unfortunately, there's only 3 in the game. We need the other 2. Come on, Fox Next, give us Star-Lord, give us Groot. We want them. We want a full Guardians team. But anyway, Gamora is very good. And let's move on. Number 4 on the list, boom, is Hawkeye. He stayed the same. He's still a very solid character. Nothing has changed with him. I think he's still broken, and even if he is broken, or if they fixed it, some of his skills that are not working properly, he's still a good character. And I think he really belongs at this 4 spot. Big Dispel with his concussion arrow. You could use that on turn 1. He has a big AoE attack that applies blind to all the targets. Says it's unavoidable, but it doesn't always apply blind, and it doesn't say resisted when that happens, so that is one of the bugs. Attack primary target and adjacent targets for 140% damage. As far as I know, this adjacent target damage is still bugged, but it still attacks the primary target and clears 3 positive effects from the adjacent targets. And then this speed reduction is just a bonus. He has an okay basic attack, and then his passive is nice. 50% chance to attack an enemy with stealth, 170% unavoidable damage and clearing stealth. Very useful when facing Black Widow or a hand team. If I'm a hand team, I'm trying to avoid Hawkeye just because he's so solid. So, back at the list, number 3, nothing's changed with this guy as well. Captain America, my opinion, best tank in the game. Let's go take a look at his kit. What really makes him solid is this Inspire. Taunt, defense up to the rest of the allies, granting ability energy to Avenger allies and granting more ability energy to random allies, just giving out energy all around. If you just looked at this skill right here, he's on the top 10 list, but what makes him to go up to this number 3 spot is these other skills. Shield throw, it dispels and it chains. He's got a basic attack that also chains. Solid character. He has a huge block chance, big block amount. Base stats not super solid, but this block chance and block amount really make up for it. Really solid. You put him in an Avenger team. I've talked about him a lot before, so I'm not going to say too much else about him, but really solid character. Let's move on. Number 2, also the same, which means that number 1 is the same too, but Yondu, really good character. Let's look at his kit. Best summon in the game. He summons Ravager Boomer, Ravager Stitcher, really solid. Really scary Yaka arrow. His ultimate chains to all enemies that does undodgeable piercing. And let's see, Centurion Hunter. This is a solid passive that I've been sleeping on a little, and it is really good. On turn, copy a positive effect on an enemy, apply the positive effect itself, clear the positive effect to enemies, and then you're giving your allies a little bit more damage. So really good. And then on his basic, he's clearing positive effects, dispel, really huge in the game. I moved him to my B team on Blitz just because I needed someone to dispel on Blitz, and really good character. So let's move on. Everybody knows who this is. I already said it. Number 1 is Quake. One of the best characters in the game, if not the best. Let's take a look at her kit. Very solid. Best basic attack in the game, hands down, not even a question in my mind. Applying slow to primary targets and adjacent targets. I don't care about the damage because this slow is such a killer for the other team when it's done to you. Luckily for us, the AI doesn't use it properly, so she's not a huge threat on defense. But when you use her right on offense, she can really cripple the other team. Earthquake, this is a very solid AoE attack. Not only is it doing some good damage, not great damage, but good damage, but it's also applying offense down to 5 enemies. So not only can you slow them, you're giving them offense down. And then her special, she's clearing. She has a dispel on this as well, and it's chaining. And then she has a passive that really helps her with all this stuff. So here is the list. Let me know what you think. I didn't do an honorable mentions this month because I just wanted to make the video a little shorter, but that is it. Let me hear your comments. Let me hear your feedback. Positive, negative. Who would you put on this list if you did it? I want to hear from you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on that notification button, and I will see you guys next time. Valley Flying out.